Let me guess. You became a therapist because you wanted to know all about email marketing, funnels, and the sales conversion system. Oh, right. Not at all. You became a therapist because you wanted to help people. But nobody bothered to mention that the only way that you can help them is if they know you exist. And you decided to become a private practice owner, which means that it's your job to actually make sure that the people find you. And yet nobody, not anybody from grad school or anyone even probably that you've been mentored by, has bothered to tell you how to do that. Or maybe they have given you this lovely advice to just do good work. And you realize that you would if you could make sure that you were getting enough clients in the door. I understand, but here's what I want you to know. Most people don't understand this, but it is completely essential for us to grasp right now. If you want to be successful in private practice in 2026, you are going to have to get comfortable with sales and marketing. What I want to be clear about is the fact that you're not necessarily comfortable with sales and marketing doesn't mean that you're not built for private practice or that you shouldn't be in private practice. I want you to understand that business skills are a completely separate degree from the counseling world. So there is vast amount of information available and lots of things that you can know. Most private practice owners don't have to know all the things, but you do have to know a few strategic things, and you need to know how they apply to your practice. And sales and marketing are things that you just cannot avoid getting to know in 2026. So this video is for you if you want a nice little introduction to sales and marketing, one that you can apply to your business in an organic way that feels not overwhelming and generates the type of business and the type of life that you actually want to live. Let's first of all talk about why you might find sales and marketing difficult. First and foremost, you didn't get trained on anything related to sales and marketing in grad school. I can almost guarantee it, unless you had a phenomenal supervisor or maybe internship teacher, you probably didn't get a stitch of information about this at all. Chances are, wherever you went for your internship or practicum, you got lots of information about the basics of patient care and maybe some of the operations of patient care, but you didn't get the feedback you needed on the business side of things. So it is not a failing of yours if you don't have that. And for the most part, our modern education system doesn't really take into consideration that people can go all the way through high school and college and become an entrepreneur in any particular subject. So we don't have sales and marketing like naturally ingrained in anything that we're doing. But you're here now, and so I'm going to make sure that you have the basics, the things that you need to understand in order to truly market the business that you have in a way that feels organic. Whether you're an introvert like myself or somebody who's a little bit more extroverted, whether you've got lots of time because you haven't gotten the clients yet, or you have a little bit of time because you're trying to build your practice while you work a full-time job. There's lots of different ways to market your business, and we're going to get you kind of marketing, sales and marketing 101 today. So first of all, here's what I want you to know. Marketing is not about being sleazy or twisting someone's arm or trying to convince them of something. It's about answering this simple question. Is this for me? Does it solve the problem that I have? Will it make my life better? And how do I get it? And yes, that's it. Now, there are lots of ways of doing that, right? So you can do that with print material. You can do that with videos. You can do that with digital products or digital sources. You can do that by having word of mouth referrals. You can do that through like a commercial or any types of things. There's so many different ways to do that. But the question I would ask you is, how are people finding you? Years ago, when our private practice started, the basic was something like this. You put up a very, very simple website, didn't have to be perfect, just had to exist. You made sure that you had a few blogs on there so that you could get your SEO working. Then you would get on panel with an insurance company or two. And maybe if you were fancy, you got on Psychology Today. And that was enough. That was plenty. Because in those days, we didn't have the tech gurus infiltrating the industry with lots and lots of marketing dollars. There wasn't a bunch of people paying for ads. So if you wanted an ad about mental health, you probably could get to the top of the page pretty quickly without spending a ton of money. Now it will cost you thousands. And when it comes to sales, sales is not the idea of the car salesman twisting your arm It is all about helping people make decisions. It is offering them something that can solve their problem and allowing them an opportunity to take advantage of it. Spoiler alert, you're probably actually very good at this. If you're good at helping your clients see the benefit of doing the exercises you have in session, or taking chances and taking risks and being courageous, you're already pretty good at helping them see the value in something that you offer. The part about the sales piece is that you're also doing this with regards to them paying you for your time. In 2026, one of the things that is very prevalent in private practice land is that as insurance companies have increased copays and deductibles, more people are going to have to come out of pocket for at least a portion of their sessions. So when you're having conversations with them about their verification of benefits and what that's going to look like for their 3 months, 6 months, or however long you think that they might need to be in therapy, you're going to have to make sure that you're clearly articulating and connecting with their goals. When you put the two together, you end up with clients who find you either through social media, your website, or some combination of marketing tools, and then through a conversation with you or a consultation with you, you're able to convert or make the sale for them to get on your books. And then ultimately, your processes behind the scenes make sure that they actually pay their bill and keep coming back. So here's the 3 things I want you to simply know about marketing and sales, okay? First and foremost, I want you to think about what are the ways that people find me and how can I make sure that I'm consistently showing up in their ecosystem. Having the right blend of passive marketing strategies and active marketing strategies is important so that you don't get burnt out on it and so that none of your referral sources kind of dry up when you aren't looking. So the idea is to keep nurturing those referral sources and making sure that you have enough of those to fill your practice. That's the biggest piece. Now, part of this is making sure that you articulate, that you understand what people need, the struggles that they're having, and you've got a clear path for them to get some relief. So let's do a little example of what this might look like in real life for you. So client finds you online because you have great marketing messages and a great referral relationship, and now they're on the call for you and they are telling you all of their problems, and you are reflecting what you hear them say. You're attuning to their emotions like you all automatically know how to do, right? And then you get to this point where it's time to see whether or not they're going to book or not. Okay. In our office, we do also require a credit card on file. And so this is maybe part of that conversation too. So this is how this might look in real life. John, I am so glad that you have identified some of these things that you are really unhappy with in your life. And I am so proud that you have taken the time to be courageous enough to call into the office. I really think since this has been going on for so long, we can expect at least 3 months, maybe a little bit more, of working together on a bi-weekly basis. Now, I've run the verification of benefits for your insurance, and it looks like you have an out-of-pocket expense of $100 per session. And yes, you notice how I paused there? That pause is important because you want them to be able to hear the number, and you want to give yourself a moment to take a breath before you run on into the next part of the sentence, okay? Now, were you aware of that? That's the next step I always like to ask, because sometimes people already know. You might feel like $100 out of pocket is crazy town, but they may already know what this is going to cost them, and they're ready with no qualms, right? Don't oversell. So if they say, yes, I'm fine with that, no problem. If they say, I'm worried, I don't know that I can afford that, then your next step would be, I understand that. We can definitely look at how we can stretch out the length of the sessions, maybe do 1 a month instead of 2. And I can also suggest some resources that you can use outside of the session. Would that be helpful? Pause again. Yes, maybe will, maybe it won't. Do not offer a discount. Do not discount your services. Allow them to deal with whatever might be the discomfort that comes up when we start talking about money.